Great to be here.
Yeah, indeed. What a venue. Super great to be here. Today, we're going to talk about Bitmagic and our journey so far. We'll start a little bit like the forming of the company, early days, a little bit where we are, and then where we are heading as a company. But before that, we actually want to start this event and a presentation with a special announcement. And to drum up a little bit of hype and suspense for the special announcement, before that, let's have some rock and roll. That was our latest trailer for the Bitmagic. And now, are you ready? Markus, are you ready?
Yes, I think I'm ready.
Let's hit it.
So, last night in GameSpeed Next Summit, Bitmagic was chosen as a Game Changer 2025. Let's give big applause to Bitmagic. Yeah, we are really happy with this awesome news, and of course this is one thing that shows that we are doing something right. The selection was made by top executives from leading cloud and game companies. And last night our CEO, Jani Penttinen, was in San Francisco in ceremony for getting this prize. And actually that's the reason why Jani is not here in the stage, and you get this Markus and Markus show instead.
Thanks. Add a little bit of personal note here. This competition contained 1,300 companies, and out of those companies filtered, and there was a jury of 30 people. So there were some of the top executives and some of the smartest people in the Silicon Valley, and those chose winners for the categories. So for me to think that those people in the Silicon Valley chose Bitmagic as the game changer 2025 in the generative AI is in one way mind-boggling, but at the same time really of course grateful for the acknowledgement. But with that, let's rewind time a little bit backwards and go into the late 2021, early 2022. Back then, a group of people was coming together with the idea of building a completely new type of role-playing experience. I'll let Markus talk a little bit about what we ended up building, but the company originally was called Rollverse, and here's the original logo of ours. We were incubated by Sisu Ventures back in the day, and what was kind of unique for our company was that we started with 10 co-founders. It's a fairly large number, but back then we have to remember that this was the time before Ukraine war. This was time still when VC money was floating very freely around. In general, market was doing way better. So our thinking was that, hey, let's start the company with a team that can already build a demo version, can already go to raise the next round before we need to do any hiring. And with this 10-person group, we didn't all know each other up front, but we went for the journey. And let's take a little bit look what we ended up building with the vision.
Yeah, Rollverse was a multiplayer online role-playing game with a twist. Twist being a game master, a person or role responsible for the game narrative and acting as a director, making sure that the game experience is fun for the whole group of players. Just like in classical tabletop role-playing games where Game Master was able, with the pen and paper, to create the experience and also tune the game experience while people were playing. And our goal was to create the same experience as a video game, online real-time game. And the idea was that still the Game Master could change the behavior in the game real time. This is a screenshot from one of our early prototypes that's built on Unreal Engine, and this is a Game Master view where Game Master was able to add some monsters or or add some decoration, change the room layout, and that kind of like direct the game. Of course, like if you have ever played tabletop role-playing games, they don't usually go as planned. So for example, players might want to do something like very weird, like, hey, I want to crash through this wall and enter to a new area, which is not part of the original plan. And with the pen and paper and just imagination, Game Master can actually create something that fits to this scenario. But in our case, the core thing in our becoming product was about to create tools that Game Master can actually, in the video game, create those changes in real time. And already back then, we were exploring different kinds of AI technologies that could help us to assist the Game Master to do his role better. So that was a Rollverse.
Thanks, Markus. And again, it sounds kind of exciting thing. Unfortunately, when we went to shopping, we reached out to a lot of investors, and I think quite a lot of them responded, and we got quite a good amount of calls with the investors, but it was fairly universal that people were saying, oh, this role-playing sounds very niche, especially real-time multiplayer role-playing game. It sounds very niche. At that time, Baldur's Gate 3 was not yet launched, so there were no recent success stories in the RPG genre. And in general, like none of the investors were showing any promise. The only kind of glimmer of hope, if you will, was the fact that there were investors saying that, those AI tools for the Game Master, they kind of sound interesting, and maybe that's something you should look into, and that could be something worth looking. And then it was somewhere in the spring of 2023, it was looking like we really struggled to raise a round. We need to do something. We're not getting any traction. And we started to, at the same time, there was our tech team, Markus, and his team was looking into doing a demo of AI actually creating a game world. So that you write something and the game world appear. And that got us thinking at the same time that, hey, there could be something really promising here if AI could actually create game world and expand the horizon from just role-playing games to actually any kind of gaming. And we noodled, and that was a fairly turbulent 4 months. And in those times, we had discussions about the vision. And there, during that time, we shrunk from 10 co-founders. We really wanted to make sure that the people who continue the journey will be really passionate about the AI platform. And many of us joined originally for the company for the role-playing part. Thus, only 4 of us decided to continue the journey. And I think it was important for us 4 that we were all really passionate about the direction we're heading. And with that, let's talk about a little bit, what is actually Bitmagic and the vision?
Yeah, so Bitmagic vision. Simply put, we are on a mission to democratize game creation. Akin YouTube revolutionized video content creation. YouTube empowered diverse range of video content creators to easily create and share their videos. So our plan is to make something similar happen in the game industry. We think that everyone with imagination, everyone with the passion should be able to create games. And with this, like in YouTube, we really hope that different kinds of people can really do different kinds of games. And I think if we do everything right, people will create games that we can't even imagine today with Bitmagic platform. That's our hope. And we know that some people, especially developers, they thrive on technical challenges. I'm a coder. I actually love coding. So for me, it's totally okay to grind, sometimes like days and days, or sometimes even weeks, I admit, to solve just some small technical challenges that will turn knob a bit in a game and make game experience just a bit better. For me, like that process is actually fun. Yeah, I have to admit it. On the other hand, there are many potential creators that are just deterred by all of this complexity. And Bitmagic is going to provide tools for people to create easily and with having fun when creating, to create the games, share the games to your friends, and also share the games to the world. That's what Bitmagic is really about.
Indeed. Let's look a little bit about the market and the opportunity we're seeing. So on the left-hand side, there's some really big companies, which listed some of the most famous usage or user-generated content platforms. They range from tens to hundreds of millions of daily active users. At the same time, we believe that AI and large language models are going to change every single industry, and usage platforms are no different. We're seeing some of these platforms adapting. There are some early signs of small features, like maybe AI helps you to find an asset or does some texturing, but it's all fairly thin surface layer elements. And these platforms are fairly, some of them have already decades of code base. It's going to be fairly challenging for them to actually adapt into the new paradigm and actually have the AI within central to their product. And I think that leaves the door open for a new generation of usage platforms. Again, I think for the next generation, what's going to be essential and central in general is the fact that the AI is at the very core of the service. And we call this AI native. So your platform is actually AI native, and the AI is very at the center of the platform. And again, there's a few question marks here on a slide. There's our name. I would have wanted to put there some competitors too, but we went through and played every single competitor we could get our hands on, and none of them really felt as a worthy competitor to be added here. A lot of them still felt like they're like in between, or they're like still like a game or a platform that has a thin AI sprinkled on top, or just a marketing gimmick, that it doesn't actually provide a fundamental or like a 10x change from the previous generation to the next generation. And we believe that in order to success, that is what you need. So maybe next year in a games first, there's a competitor here on a slide, and we're really eager to wait for that. But to kind of summarize the marketing opportunity, to me and us, we believe that in next 3 to 5 years, there will be one or multiple billion-dollar companies building new usage platforms that are going to be AI native. And with that, let's turn gears a little bit. So kind of from the high-level, fluffy vision stuff and market stuff into, well, what is actually Bitmagic? How does it actually work? Markus?
Yeah, because the idea is that, like, yeah, as Markus said, that like now we've been thinking about the future, but our strategy is that we should be having a game platform already in place, like today. So what you're going to see next is from our Steam playtest version. I think our original plan was actually to have a live demo, but we saw this stage and thought that it is not a good idea for us to hang around with laptops here. So this is unedited video recorded from our live build. So let's go. So in this case, I have prompted a game, Mystical Tropical Island Adventure. And now our platform is creating the game on the background. Just from this very simple prompt. And it also generates a kind of longer description, and then I can jump into the gameplay. Now, the game has been created, and the player enters into the game world. And actually, the game is constructed while you're inside the game. And what you can now do, you can start fine-tuning the game even more. So this is a Mystic Island. Let's build a research facility with some scientists. And the idea is that this is a mixture of creating and playing, the fun part. So everything happens like in real time. So, okay, now there are like a research facility being built, and then there are some scientists. I can now scroll through the place and see like, okay, looks pretty okay. Let's add something more. For example, some weird animals. This case, okay, there was a typo, but our AI doesn't matter. So this is some weird demo effect. So we have dinosaurs coming in, and then of course you can also change the existing objects. Like for example, I typed, I want to be a researcher. Guy with the suit, yeah,
maybe not.
Fits a bit better than the previous outfit. And then of course for the gameplay, I can also create some dynamic behavior. Like here, a mystical bottle that makes my head huge. The idea in here that you can start interacting with the world by creating all kinds of objects that actually have behavior. So now, boom. Yeah, it's a bit fun, but you can add like lots of these small things here. And of course now I want to change the whole scene to be more mystical. It's like it's too sunny and just some weird mystical weather, and let's see what will come up. Okay, and then there's a thunder and some weird stuff happening. So for me, I'm pretty happy with the result. And if you think about this, like it took something like 2 to 3 minutes to create a unique experience with some unique stuff, some scripted objects and that kind of stuff. And now the game is ready to be shared to other people. I'm pretty happy with that.
Indeed. I just want to highlight the one detail here when Markus talking about scripted objects. It actually means that the AI is writing that script. So when you ask for a bottle that changes the player's appearance in this case, it actually is created on fly. There's no script to be attached to that bottle, but the AI is controlling all of that code generation. So this was a single-player experience we had for a while, and again, we've been thinking that this is good, but of course, it's even more fun if you could do it with your friends. So we're building a multiplayer game, and with the multiplayer, we're like starting to think this like, still you're not prompting the other players creating the world, and that's sort of fun, but then you're playing that other player's game. How could we make it even more fun? And we had this idea fairly early on, but we thought that it's going to be too hard, too ambitious to build, which was this idea that how about if you could prompt together at the same time? So you go into the same game world, and together while in the world, both of you or all of you, the players, can start prompting and changing the world together at the same time. And after careful, hey, actually we think we could pull this off. And fairly recently we got our first build together. So this is a glimpse into what we call co-prompting. So again, here we can see player joining the world being built. Again, everything is built on fly. And there's other players joining into the world. And off they go to venture into the game world and explore the surroundings. This time it seems to be downtown showdown, some kind of a city environment. And the other player is asking, how do I get to the rooftops to explore the game from that angle? And the other player is, maybe there's similar to the example you saw earlier about the dynamic objects. How about a trampoline that actually pushes the players up into the air? And again, we haven't coded any trampoline into the platform or any kind of script. And again, here we can see AI creating the object, adding the behavior, and okay, off you go.
Woo,
yay! Player one at least made it to the rooftop.
Let's see.
And the other one, yes. So now you can easily see that these players would venture further. So they would start adding further trampolines or other mechanisms to go and from rooftop to a rooftop, exploring the city. But of course, this is an emergent platform, so you can do a lot of different type of things and explore the world in different ways. So here, one of the players asking, hey, how about a car race? So again, maybe there are cars in the world already existing, but again, you might struggle to find them. So at the same time, you might as well start thinking, what kind of car would I want to take into the race? So the other player wanted to pick up a race car. Oh, there's a race car. It seems to be pretty sporty. And the other player is now prompting for what looks like to be a muscle car. Oh, yeah. Maybe
it's kind of a muscle.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, kind of monster car. Again. And then they have both their cars. They're ready to rumble and go right to the sunset. Oh, it's a sunrise, I'm not sure. Again, this is a very early version. There are some glitches here and there still. And actually this car race now ends up into a crash. So that was a glimpse into what's potential with Go prompting. And again, in my view, we're just scratching the surface, having some very early first tries on what could be potential, what could be possible with the tool set. And looking into audience, I see quite a few developers here and coders here. And I think some of you, and maybe some other people are thinking, I wonder how they do that. I wonder how Bitmagic actually works. So let's take a look.
Yeah. So what's the magic behind Bitmagic? Overall, like instead of us using one like foundational AI model that will create everything, we use this kind of a hybrid model where we use AI where it at its best. Then we have some things are handmade, and then we use something borrowed. So, for example, in here, typically when you prompt something in Bitmagic, like the prompt goes to a layer of large language model calls. The first layer often checks, like sanitizes the prompt. That's actually pretty important in the UGC platform. And then also detects what kind of a prompt this was. Is player going to remove something or adding something, or what's going to happen? And based on that, we will then generate more AI calls. And then as a result, those AI calls will generate different kinds of assets. Like music, Lua code is used for those scripted behaviors we showed earlier in the demos. And then we have our own Bitmagic game definition files. And the AI can generate, based on the player prompt, kind of a transform those prompts to our game definition files. And then on the bottom, we also have some things like handmade. For example, at the moment, Bitmagic is a 3D game, third-person view 3D game. And we've handmade character controls for that kind of a gameplay. The idea is that AI is not capable of really creating awesome controls yet. So we've handmade those so that the game really also feels like awesome to play, which is very important. And then, like in the middle, we are actually using nowadays Unity engine. So we use physics and rendering and that kind of stuff from Unity. No point in reinventing wheel there. Those things already work. And we just have like our own Bitmagic AI framework layer on top of Unity 3D engine that can turn all of those previously mentioned assets into a real game with the gameplay. And the last thing, where do all the 3D assets come from? At the moment, we have our own asset catalog. We have licensed something like tens of thousands of assets, and they all have gone through our AI-based pipeline. So basically, the technology like picks the asset and takes the screenshot from each side, and then use the vision AI for detecting that is this a hammer, and what are the attributes of this hammer. And based on that, the AI will create textual descriptions and tags and what have you. That we put everything into our own database, and then in the game, we can, like when you prompt something, for example, trampoline, we can, from this catalog, we try to get the best possible match. And it already works quite well, but even with tens of thousands of assets, like it's only best possible match. It's not always that good. And that's one thing that we are now trying to improve. In general, our approach is that we take an iterative approach. We want Bitmagic to work already today, and then the tomorrow's version of Bitmagic is even better, which means that we are looking at the AI technology landscape, and we are always trying to research and trying to integrate new things to our platform. And our goal is to make the expression power of creator better and better. So now we have already in a dev build version where we can actually generate characters on fly. Let's see it in action. Okay, this is again, one game world I created, Secrets of the Pharaoh's Tomb. And in here, now I'm prompting, I want to have a Tutankhamun here, which apparently, I guess, was a pharaoh in some era.
I guess AI knows.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So I'm not sure how Tutankhamun should look like, so hopefully this is about right. So, voila! Tutankhamun is here and starts wandering around. And now I can also ask some more detail, like laughing marshmallow boy. That's what I want to create. And in here, there's nothing in asset catalog. Everything is generated a runtime based on this prompt. The mesh and rigging, and then like its end result is animated 3D character working in a multiplayer world. And it takes, at the moment, it takes about 10 seconds. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And then I think that the especially cool thing is this, because I said the best possible match is a problem with the catalog. If I want to create something with even more detail, so here I have to really figure out what's the best possible detail, but like a timid-looking penguin wearing a red woolen cap, and let's put something more, a scarf. So that's like a pretty unique object, I would say. And again, like we just wait about 10 seconds, and we should have a penguin. Let's see what kind of penguin we'll get. Okay. Yeah, it's a penguin. It has a cap and a scarf, and it's moving around. So this is like our latest tech working in a dev, which we are integrating into live build soon to make expression power for creators even better.
Thanks. And again, to add on that one, I think for me, just maybe a year ago, thinking that you could have a text prompt turned into a character that then animated and roaming in the game world within a 10 second sounded like a science fiction. But again, world is moving super fast. And here we've shown you the first glimpse into the future, into what's possible in the next generation, user-generated platforms. And again, I just want to highlight, this is, like Markus said, this is iterative process. This is the very first version of the future. And as we go forward with this journey, the expression power will only keep increasing, and you can only do bigger and greater things with the platform. I want to end this on a note that if you found this interesting, if you're like, hey, I would like to try Bitmagic myself, it's possible today. So there's quite a few people here in the audience from the team. So you can just find for someone with a Bitmagic shirt, and they're happy to hand you over a Steam key. And then maybe tomorrow, after the party, if you're a little unproductive or slow, you could pick up a Steam and install Bitmagic and give it a go. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Markus.
Hello.
We thank you cordially. This was both entertaining and informative. Entertainative, if you will.
What a word. Well, how about this? Could you tell us what is the most entertainative thing that you have created with Bitmagic?
There's an example coming to mind. I don't remember actually the full story, but there was maybe last spring we're meeting with the investor. I'm not going to disclose the investor here, because we were talking, and then we often do in investor calls, we're like, oh, what kind of game would you like to create? So they can come up with any kind of game they would like to try out the AI to create. And this particular investor like, can you make a game about saving my marriage? And we're like, oh, okay, interesting. But we always do that. We don't filter. We're like, okay, we'll type in, create a game about saving my marriage. And again, we wait for a while. AI makes it magic, and a game world appears. And in the game world, there are objectives for the player to complete. I can't remember all of the timid details of collecting different things around the game world and exploring. There are themes around the marriage. But what I think I will forever remember was the end of the game. So after the player played in the demo session, it didn't take many minutes, but some minutes after we were playing through the game, we come to the end of the game, the last quest and the reward for that last objective. And what the AI came up was, at the end of the game, there's an elixir of understanding, which I think was a pretty well thought out answer for the game.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful story. Wow. But we have another question, and this question is for Markus, so not for you, Markus. So Markus, could you tell us what is it like to work with Markus?
Markus, I have to say it's nice to work with you. Yeah, of course, it's sometimes a bit challenging in the meetings with two Markuses, but yeah, we usually know which one it is from the context. I'm a more technical Markus, I would put it that way.
Okay. Well, all Markus jokes aside, Markus, what's the best thing about working with this Markus?
So I've been in the game industry almost 20 years. I work with many tech leads over the years. My roles have been changing a lot. But I think about Markus, what I think is fairly unique is that he's always like, yeah, we can do that. He's always like, nothing is impossible. Of course, things might take a while, and different things take different amount of time. But the attitude and the mindset of yeah, it's possible. Yeah, we can do that. I think that's a really welcoming thing in an environment like ours, which is constantly changing.
Lovely.
Thanks.
Markus and Markus, thank you. You're off the hook.
Thanks.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you, Markus.
Yes.
Bye-bye.